Well, time now for the question of the day. Today it comes from Reg in New York. Ray saw yesterday's show and our piece about China's Muslims heading to the Hajj. He asked, how many Muslims are there in China?
Well, Ray, that's an interesting question. There are no exact figures because, interestingly, unlike many countries, China does not have a question on its census, as you know, to fill in and say what your religion is. But the figures that we have come up with, Ray, are that China is home to a large population of adherents and probably 100 to 130 million people, but very much an estimate. Nobody can be quite sure.
Friday prayers at Beijing's most famous mosque. It may not match the majesty of Mecca, but this is still the most important place of Islamic worship in the Chinese capital. More than 12,000 Chinese Muslims made their way to Saudi Arabia to take part in this year's Hajj, the world's biggest pilgrimage. Many of the Beijing Muslims who couldn't make it to Mecca came here, or to the more than 50 other mosques scattered across the city.
I'm inside Niujie Mosque. It's the oldest mosque in Beijing and it's a focal point for the capital's Muslim community. Like other mosques across China, there are restrictions on this one. It has to be registered with the state and the appointment of the imam has to be vetted by government officials. But despite those restrictions, people from across the capital flock here every week for Friday prayers.
My family, my whole family, Muslim. So, my father, my mother, grandfather, grandmother. And now in China, more and more Muslim. Lots of my friends, before they are not Muslim, but now they're Muslim.
Chinese Muslims aren't technically allowed to attend the mosque before they're 18, though some parents clearly turn a blind eye to that law. The only making the trip to Mecca is also controlled. Chinese Muslims have to join a tour if they want to take part in the pilgrimage. But Xia Zongping, a professor of Islamic studies at Peking University and a practicing Muslim himself, says life for China's Muslims is improving. He points to the growing number of mosques being built across the country. That in growth in the number of Islamic groups in the country.
The Cultural Revolution was disastrous for all religions in China. Islam was badly affected during that time. But since reform and opening up in 1978, things have improved.
Islam has a long history in China, dating as far back as the year 650, when the uncle of the Prophet Muhammad was said to have been sent as an official envoy to the Chinese emperor. Islam's influence can still be seen in many towns and cities across China, and Professor Xia says the religion is now seeing a revival.
In southeastern China, there has been a religious revival as the economy, society and education have developed. In the northwest of the country, people practice a more traditional form of Islam.